I would like to call it the baby, because it was built in the mid-2000s. And would you say this is where you really were kind of looking at, wow, we could really make these old cars really incredible?
Yeah, you know, when we came out with the second-gen Camaro Firebird product line, it was something that, it was fresh meat, right? There was a lot of potential there, and we did this really early on, and it was a revolutionary product that we designed. The front subframe that's under this car is a hydroform subframe,
wow.
Stamped cross members, all our new geometry, and it was just something that you didn't hear of in the aftermarket.
No way.
So it's still a flagship product for us and still works. It's got thousands and thousands of miles and laps on it, and it's tried and true, but it still works.
And this is also LS7.
Yes.
But with a little bit more mild of a cam than the last thing we heard, which was also a Camaro, but from the 80s instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is a 1970 Camaro, and why did you choose this first? Was there just a void in the market for it?
Yeah, you know, when we came into the aftermarket and our core product is suspension systems, we started with the first-gen Camaros and Firebirds and the early Novas, and then got into the second-gen Camaros because that's kind of where, as people wanted the older cars,
right.
You know, it's kind of evolutionary. It cycles through the newer generations. So we went from first-gen Camaro Firebird to second-gen Camaro Firebird, and it opened up another 11 years of car applications for us.
Yeah, and I've always liked this body style of the Camaro. I think the 69 always overshadows it,
right.
But this is still a great-looking car.
It is, especially the 70. You know, people want the split bumper. This is the old standard bumper car that I really like, because in the Trans Am era, Jim Hall, the Chaparral cars,
raced them.
They really raced a car just like this.
How much of the dashboard and everything's original?
Yeah, so this car, all the sheet metal on the outside is pretty much original. We've flared the front fenders slightly, but sheet metal wise, this car is stock. You know, it's a stock dash, carrier, stock doors, interior.
So did you start with a really nice example?
It was actually a car that came out of Atlanta. I bought it off of eBay, and it was a 307 car, 2-barrel, and just a plain Jane car.
I think what scares a lot of people from my generation getting in cars like this is carburetors.
Yeah.
You know, so when you eliminate that, and you get put in technology we're more familiar with, like the LS7 with a Holley EFI and all that good stuff, it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could get into this stuff if it's really that available, especially with you guys doing packages and everything else going, yeah, dude, we'll put the motor in there for you. And if something goes wrong, they'll know how to fix it because they understand the product with the center force clutch and T56 gearbox. They put it in the Terminator, in the Catfish, and everything, the Viper. Yeah, and I mean, sure, people might think they're played out, but they're played out for a reason. They work. I think I have an interesting question when it comes to the community of old muscle cars. Look, I'm not a purist. Do you get purists be like, you shouldn't do that to these?
We do. We get some hate mail and some hate posts, but you know, that's the beauty about cars and hot rodding, right? There's no right or wrong answer. You have your taste, I have mine.
Yeah, but like,
and you can do your thing.
But then the same people go build a rat rod. It doesn't make any sense. It's so odd how that is in every car scene. Like, you can have the worst engine in a car, and they'd be like, no, you should have kept it. It's like, no!
This has the Bear 6R piston.
Oh, these are the Bear ones?
Yeah.
Oh man, those are awesome. So when it comes to the internals of this LS7, this is about 600 naturally aspirated horsepower.
Right.
So is it just valve train and cam and all that good stuff?
It's actually a Mass Motorsports engine, so it's, you know, head to bottom. It's the mast heads. Oh,
it's funny. I'm kind of thinking about the last two cars we drove, right? The C3 straight up autocross race car.
Right.
Straight up, we could barely talk to each other, which is fun in that, in a way, right? And then the second one was a nice Eagle Mean. I feel like this is the most internally, I feel like it's the most normal feeling one. So you've driven it on track a lot, you've raced it, you've road tripped it. So you said you were talking about how you've blown some motors up over time. you actually crashed the car on an accident. So what made you be like, I gotta save this thing, rather than just moving on?
It's just part of me. It was kind of my go-to car that I went to every weekend when we campaigned the cars a lot, and it was just something that I always wanted. I wanted to keep it going and keep it, we needed repaint, we repainted it. Needed an engine, we put a new engine in it. So.
Well, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, but you can see how from an outside perspective, like as a business decision, it's like, is it worth to keep fixing it? And to me, yeah, it's a no-brainer because I'm a sucker for sentimental value too.
There's part of that too. I'm a car parts and car hoarder. So
yeah, I know.
The guys make fun of me.
Yeah, well, have you ever noticed there's like two different car guys? There's people who are like, it's a mechanical thing, I don't care about it, see you later.
Right.
I'm gonna sell it for more money. And then there's the other people going, I can't. I just can't.
That's the way. It's a funny story. We built a second-gen Camaro for Dale Jr. and he's here in Mooresville, and his shop used to be down the street from our shop. So this car was parked in the parking lot a lot because I drove it day to day. And he came in one day and he said, I want to buy that car, and I'm like, well, it's not for sale. And
to Dale Jr.
To Dale Jr. And he asked twice, and I said, we can build you a car, and that's how we built this car for him then. So
it's a smart move in my opinion. Just like, you know what? If you really like it, we'll get you one.
And his was much nicer and better than this one too.
Well, it's just funny. There's like, to me, the interior is like irony because it's like old and then a race pack. Just like right in front of you. You're like, oh, I got the race car, I got the wheel, got the harnesses. The turning is more aggressive than I expected.
This car has 315s front, 335s rear.
Like it goes from being a showstopper cruiser to I'm gonna ruin your day in like 1 second.
Yeah.
That's what I love about your guys' builds is that every generation can appreciate it. The modern cars, a lot of people's arguments are they don't feel raw enough, they don't have a connection, they don't have all this because it does so much for you. But then the newer generation of people go, no, that's better. But if you're old combined with that new, it's such a weird mix that I've never experienced. Like I've always known that it's always possible to make an old car nice, but I never understood like what's the process, right? So when you guys buy a shell, what's the first thing you guys do?
I mean, it's really, we get it down to bare metal.
Yeah.
Replace any panels that are rusty, crusty. And there's really, unless a customer build wants to do sheet metal modifications, we typically don't do a lot of body modification. This car, I had GM front fenders for it, but I bought reproduction front fenders, and the guys, they flared them, to fit a 315. So it still looks fairly stock everywhere. The Optima Championship and Vintage Class and the National Championship. This car's won 3 Good Guys Autocross Championships over different years. So it's been a lot of fun to have around. It's done really a lot of things for the company.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, just wants more all the time. More curves, more room.
It feels so, the word isn't wrong, it's unique of such an old car wanting to go so fast. Because sure, you see old muscle cars drag race all the time because they're not even really the same car anymore. They tub them, they fiberglass everything.
More of a shell on it.
Yeah, it looks like what it used to, but it's not. This still feels like you're in that car. That's what I think is neat. Because you look around and you're like, well, it's the same window shape, the same body, the same grill, but underneath it's this masterpiece.
GM did the best they could at the time, right? But again, the technology and the tires just let us do what it can do right now.
This makes no sense, dude. Like, to me, when I learned that I was going to drive old muscle cars on turns, my brain was, you know what, you're going to probably have to add a little bit of steering input to kind of kick the tail around a little bit, or just keep it from understeering or oversteering. Nope, it just doesn't. Like, I feel like all these reviews are going to be almost the same because like your suspension parts are so dialed in. That's the key. Sure, you can manufacture something and say, hey, it'll make your car better, but with your guys' track experience, that translates so well to the street that, I mean, look, we're cruising at 40, having a normal conversation with a loud exhaust and an LS7 out of the
That's why I think it's been so important for us to have the cars, the test cars that we've had to learn from over the years and tweak and fine tune and update sometimes too.
No, it get grips. Like we spun once today. One time. Alright. And you go right back to normal so fast. Like, I'm expecting, it's gonna be crackling and going nuts, but it's just like, alright, you're back to a street car. Okay, I totally get why you kept this thing. Totally get it.
I've had this car from Road Atlanta to Road America to Fontana, Daytona. I mean, everywhere
what
we've raced it.
What do you think this car, which track performed best on?
I've had such a great time at Road America in this car. We've won our class, I think, every time we've been up there.
Yeah.
And it's always treated me well. It's super fun up there. Not that it's not fun at Daytona or Michigan or somewhere too, but Road America has always been a special place for this car.
Oh man, I'm just imagining driving this thing around Road America because there's long sweepers and straights. I think this car is easier to drive at speed than at really slow speed.
I agree.
Because we also have a fresh gearbox. Fair enough. And the clutch is,
it's new too, but this car is riding on our hydroform front subframe and our 4-link in the back with our mini tubs, and it's right out of the catalog. This is what you get.
Well, if this is just what you get, I think you're underselling yourself, sir. All right, well, once again, thank you guys for all watching. Oh my God. Thank you all for watching this video. I've had a wonderful time. And make sure to check out, wow, nice one, David. Make sure to check out Detroit Speed. They're wonderful people. And on that note, I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much once again. Appreciate it.
It was fun.
It's been great. See you guys next time. Goodbye.